Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And welcome to Cats and Cosby. John is traveling and maybe joining us later on this hour. But we are playing the Twilight Zone, and it could not be more fitting because I think some of the leaders there in Minnesota belong in the Twilight Zone. And joining us, of course, today, we have the great Judge Richard Weinberg, also Ed Cox, New York State GOP chair, and also another Democrat along with Judge Richard Weinberg, former New York Governor David Paterson. Gov, I know you like that. You like the Twilight Zone, and it's appropriate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, why anybody would get on a witness stand and it was pro forma. They're just saying, and you're the Attorney General of Minnesota. Is that correct? Oh, I can't answer that question. Well, if you can't answer that question, why'd you get on a witness stand in the first place? Yeah,
and of course you're talking about Keith Ellison, who got on yesterday, the Minnesota Attorney General. And by the way, later on in this hour, we're going to have Senator Ron Johnson talk about that, because he did not just a questioning, he did what's I think called a searing and a grilling. And then the other thing is what Jacob Fry came out with just a little bit ago.
Must be something in the Minnesota water.
Yeah, there's or in the ice water there, right? Because there's a lot of ice there now, because Jacob Fry came out, Ed Cox, just a little bit ago, and he, of course, is the mayor of Minneapolis. He met with Zoran Mondani yesterday, too. Remember, we were all talking about that, guys. And he comes out, I couldn't believe this. He said, ICE, what is it worth what you did to our city? The fear you instilled in our city. And he essentially said, the buildings were damaged. This is what happened. Forgive me, ICE came in and they took off 4,000 dangerous criminals off the street, Ed Cox, and he's blaming ICE?
And no cooperation from the city government.
No cooperation. Great point, Judge.
Appropriate comment for Friday the 13th, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, touche, you're right. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, look, they are the ones who whipped up the crowds. They're the ones who basically should have protecting the people rather than stirring them up and egging them on to take on ICE.
Yeah, and this, it gets worse, you guys, as if it can't get worse with these crazy lunacy comments. Tim Walz, the governor, of course, of Minnesota. And I'm looking at we have a couple of attorneys here with us, so I'm going to ask all of you guys, three esteemed attorneys, all right? So here's the question. Tim Walz came out. He, of course, is the governor of Minnesota, and he said the feds, quote, must pay for what they broke after the ICE drawdown. Forgive me, Judge, let me just ask you one question. Wasn't it the governor, Tim Walz, and Mayor Jacob Fry that were there when their city burned to the ground?
Listen,
and he's blaming ICE now?
They did it in 2020, and they allowed their city to go to hell again in the last year.
So what is he saying? Is he saying he's going to try to go after ICE financially?
What he's saying is he wants to distract everyone from the $9 billion of fraud that's going on, that went on, and he covered up for political purposes.
Well said.
Touche. What is this about? I'm looking at another great, well-dressed attorney here, Governor Paterson.
Well, I think that the real problem is we're moving away from a society that can disagree without being disagreeable. The whole idea of just making a mockery of the process when they put the when they put the Attorney General on the witness stand, and these other statements, it sounds like student leadership in the 1960s. But the difference was student leadership in the 1960s were fighting for real issues.